give us a life and health and strength, allow us to do what we do on a daily basis. What the heck is that thing? All right, I know I'm fat. Look, I know I'm fat, but you don't need a camera that big. Come
on. They're invited guests.
Really trust the Lord.
Say that again?
That's a bunch of people who really trust the Lord.
Oh, that parachute, you better know. Those parachuters, they woo! I'm telling you. I used to watch those guys go out of plane when I was in the Army. I used to look at them. Not for me, guys. I'm glad someone can do it, but I can't. Guys, thank y'all so much for being here on this Sunday afternoon. You could be anywhere else, but you're here. And I know the reason why you're here. You're here because you care. You care about what happens to your city, your family, your state, your nation. And you know what this is all about, folks. I've been in this thing since 2019. And from the moment I got into it, folks, the big money started coming in. So the big money came in my LG race. And, a guy named Michael Bloomberg, he spent $14 million trying to keep me from being the lieutenant governor. And now, the leftists spending $50 to $60 million trying to keep me from being the governor of this state. Why? Why are they doing that? Because they know that my election to governor in this state changes their stranglehold on this state forever. No more are people going to look at it and say, well, the answer to the question in this state is a Democratic governor. They're going to see, like they have in Florida, like they have in Georgia, like they have in Tennessee, like they have in other states, that the answer to the ills that our nation and our state suffers from are individuals at the top who pass great policies. That is the whole deal, folks. Policy is the name of the game. Not political ads, not politics, not personalities, not who makes you feel warm and fuzzy, but who is passing great policy. You can look at it from the world stage, national stage, state level, local level. Look at the world stage, folks. We got a war in Israel and a war in Ukraine, both caused by bad policy. The Biden administration gave $9 billion to Iran. What did they do with it? Turn around and turn some of it over to Hamas. What did they do with it? They war on Israel. The Biden administration cut off our ability to be able to sell gas and oil to our friends in Europe. He left Vladimir Putin with more ability to sell more gas, more oil. What did he do with the money? Made war on Ukraine. The southern border right here is open. Why? Biden administration policies. Inflation is up. Gas is up. Why? Biden administration policies. The state of North Carolina, folks, is the same way. Prior to 2010, the state was dead broke. $6 million in debt to the federal government, furloughing state workers, teachers not getting a raise for 6 years, taxes through the roof, revenue through the basement. Why? Because of bad policy. And guess who was passing that policy? A guy named Josh Stein. He was in the legislature in 2008 when this state was dead broke, and him and his leftist buddies had this state in a bad place. Now the state Republicans took over in 2010. They got to work and start passing great policies. Now 14 years later, not only are we not in debt to the federal government, we got a $5 billion surplus, folks. $5 billion. Now you think of what that's going to do for the people of Western North Carolina from this hurricane. Think about what it would be if we were still dead broke and in debt to the federal government right now. We'd be in a bad way. But because of great Republican conservative policies, we have a $5 billion surplus to take care of those folks out there. And to continue to invest in this state to help it to grow. We're the #2 business destination in the nation. This year, we were #1 2 years running, and will be again if we have a Republican governor in January. This state, despite what's going on, despite the inflation, despite the woes and the uncertainty, more small business filings than ever have been filed in this state. Why? People want to come here to do business, and they want to do it organically. We're not having to offer people the kit and caboodle through all these incentives to come here. They come here because of our low taxes, our great tax structure, and because business in North Carolina is booming. Because we've built an organic base that makes it happen. So when folks talk to you about this race, and they want to talk to you about a commercial that Josh Stein made, I want you to remind them of something. No political candidate is going to make a commercial about their opponent that is nice or true. I'm just going to take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody. Folks are either going to be, it's either going to be nasty or it's going to be nasty and untrue. And if it is true, it's still going to be nasty. Yes. Nobody's going to make it, so you shouldn't be basing it on some political act. What you need to go, what you need to do, and encourage your friends to do, is find the candidates and find the policies that they champion and ask yourself, who do I want in office? What is it that I want done? Who's going to get it done better? And I can assure you, you look at me, the guys that I'm with in the legislature, you look at him and his leftist buddies, no question.
No question.
You also need to ask yourself what the person is standing up on. Let me ask you a question. What's Josh Stein's policy? What's his policy? What is he standing up on?
Not supporting North Carolina.
What is his commercial said that he's all about? Nothing. Nothing. His commercial basically said, I hate Mark Robinson.
Yep.
We've been all over this state delivering this same message, folks. Our message is simple. What we're standing up for is one simple thing. We are standing up for the economy of North Carolina.
Yeah.
Now, some people might say, hey, wait a minute, that's just one issue, guy. That's just one issue. That's not just one issue. That's one issue, but there's several layers of that issue. For me, it's the 5 pillars that hold that economy up. The 5 pillars are public safety, public education, infrastructure, health care, and housing. Why are those the pillars that support an economy? You can't have an economy without those things. Nobody wants to live in a place where you don't have housing. Nobody wants to live in a place where you don't have water and sewer. Oh, and here's a big one. Internet connection.
Yes.
And water.
Cell service.
Yes.
Water and hope.
That's right. Water, sewer, internet connection, roads. Nobody wants to live in a place where you don't have those things. Nobody wants to live in a place where you can't see a doctor. Or where you got to drive miles and miles and miles and miles to go to the emergency room. Or be able to call 911. Nobody wants to live in a place where you can't get a great education.
Yes.
Where you can't get some re-education or some adult education or educate your children.
Yes.
And nobody wants to live in a place definitely where you're not safe.
Yes.
Now, why is that important when you're looking at who's going to be the governor? Because here it is. The governor is the person who appoints the people over the agencies to hold sway over those things in the state. The governor appoints the person to the Department of Public Safety. The governor appoints the people, the individuals to the state school board of North Carolina, which by our Constitution holds most of the power in education in this state. The governor is the person that appoints the person over the Department of Health and Human Services, and to DOT, the Department of Transportation, and to DEQ. Those agencies are largely responsible for our infrastructure and for our housing. Governor of this state plays a unique role when it comes to making sure that our economy is healthy, by making sure that the state agencies that help our economy be healthy and the businesses thereof be healthy themselves. What do I mean by healthy? Here it is. Number one thing with those agencies is this. The folks who lead those agencies, the folks who work in those agencies, need to understand the same premise and believe the same premise that I believe as lieutenant governor and I will still believe as governor, and it's this. If folks that, quote, work for the state of North Carolina, we don't actually work for the state of North Carolina. We work for the people of North Carolina.
Amen.
And we need to behave like it. Those folks are our customers. Those folks in those agencies need to put up guardrails, folks. And yes, those guardrails have to be up. And the guardrails keep employees safe and people safe. They keep our environment safe. They make sure people are playing by the rules and playing fair and following the law. But those guardrails should never, for any reason, be turned the other way and turned into barriers to people's success. We have to make sure that those agencies are doing the right thing by people. And here's a big one, folks. We need to make sure those agencies are never, ever weaponized against anyone for any reason, political or social, ever.